Another response video to this Luddite guy. I suppose he's on the intellectual team, and so it's Team Intellectual, fighting for its life. Yeah, so let's just add to the drama of the argument. Let's have shirts and everything. Yeah, we really ought to have uniforms. You know, special superpower names. Anyway, all right. So I'll go through the list of his counter arguments. So his counter argument to the argument that the word hedonism really has no place being used philosophically as some sort of word for somebody who is risk averse, that it makes absolutely no sense to any common usage of the word, is that no, we're special super philosophers, we have our special decoder rings and our special language words, and we're not giving them up. Even though there's absolutely no reason to make these distinctions. There's no reason for intellectual, smart people to use words that 99% of the human population either doesn't understand or has another definition of that's completely different than the definition the philosopher is using. Yeah, that's not something smart people should do if they understand what communication is. If they want to communicate with a common language, then the word should be common. Duh. Duh, duh, duh. Yeah. Alright, so enough of that crap. It's just the stupidest crap ever. Let's play with the words because we can manipulate them and deceive people with them. We can imply things. That's all. That's always why you would want words of this deception, is to imply without saying. Isn't that the only reason to have them? Is so you can cheat the argument, so you can imply, insult. Damn. I have to get back to you. An urgent Medicare message. No, I'm afraid not. Not twice in one day. A recorded, urgent Medicare message that prefaces the message with, if you are. So it's not even urgent to me. So it's urgent, but they can't even figure out that I don't qualify as the urgent category. Interesting. Why do they let people get away with this crap? Why? Why does America let people do this? These liars and shysters and crooks. Oh my. Oh, that's right, because it's run by a bunch of elitist, word game playing, lying fucking cunts. That's why. Alright, anyway. Anyway, so you can't communicate with, and again, the purpose is they want to use the word hedonism because they want to imply triviality. And that's what hedonism implies. They want to imply frivolous selfishness. They don't want to imply concerned empathy. They don't want to acknowledge concern and empathy. Yeah, so it's a cheap insult. They might as well say our nose is big, or we're fat and dullardy, or we're balding. That's all you're doing, intellectuals. And I've caught you. I see you. I see you. Yeah, I see you. Okay? You haven't fooled me. Anyway. Alright, so again, moving on. Agnosticism. Oh, this was the one, just incredible. What is this? We should be agnostic. So should we be agnostic on totem pole, iconism, animal gods? We should really believe that there's the eagles are God. Is that the truth of it? We should believe in the bear god. We should be agnostic until it's proven that bears aren't God. We should believe they might be. Should we give the benefit of the doubt to voodoo? How about witch doctory? Yeah. Okay, bone rolling. Yes, let's be agnostic on bone rolling as a way of predicting the future. I'm sorry. We see that all these religions have the same incredible origins. It's not credible. None of these stories are credible. None of them. Because one is popular does not make it credible. Especially when it gained its popularity through a written record of history where it annihilated through murder any counter argument. counter theory. So we know that's a flawed theory, don't we? We know that a sword is not an intellectual instrument of persuasion. We know it's not endowed with superpowers based on how credible your philosophy is. Your sword doesn't work better because you are on the side of right, the right theory. All right, so intellectuals who want to be agnostic on preposterous theories of creation aren't intelligent. It's a stupid thing to do. Yeah, it's dumb. Okay. Next, Neanderthal. So he calls me an intellectual Neanderthal. Yet I'm not resorting to defending witch doctors. Yeah, I don't know. Where do you go with that? Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't go anywhere with it. So the hell with it. Nonsense. It's a nonsense insult. That's what it is. It's just nonsense. Especially when they do it without. They can't even quote the Neanderthal directly and in context. Really? So you're arguing with a Neanderthal. You can't even beat a Neanderthal in a intellectual argument. And it really is sort of another sideways or backward dig, right? Because it was the Neanderthals who were the meat eaters. They were the ones defending the evolutionary might makes right theory. And they got smited, by a different kind of approach to existence that our ancestors once had. And now we are, as a culture, becoming more Neanderthalistic. Anyway, moving on. Cannot give consent. So again, the evasion that somehow this fundamental flaw, which it is, it's a fundamental flaw, right? If you can't do a contract, and so, but that shouldn't mean anything. We should just give nature the benefit of the unresolvable problem. So anything that has an unresolvable flaw to it, like the potential of a nuclear reaction to go out of control. I mean, that's a potential that always exists with nuclear reactions, let's say. We should just give it the... So what? That's the way it is. So it makes it good. Yeah. You can't use it as a defense. You can't say that because the flaw is intractable, because it's uncorrectable, because you can't fix it, that you're going to allow it. I mean, you could argue that you could have a criminal psychology that's unrepairable. You can't do anything to fix it. So what? You would intellectually say it's okay? Yeah, let him loose. Even though he's intractably broken, let him loose. Because, why? Because we have no willingness to accept reality. Or accept responsibility for the fact that it's fundamentally flawed at minimum. So accept the flaw and make an argument saying why it's okay that it's flawed. But don't pretend the flaw doesn't exist because you can't fix it. And that's what you're essentially doing. So we're back to the argument that the non-existents have no rights. That something in the future individual has no rights. So if we just back up the decision, right? We could judge somebody who has a fetus that has 4 heads and no penis and whatever. An arm is actually growing through its heads, one of its heads. Yeah, we could rationally judge somebody for continuing a pregnancy under those conditions. It would be a rational judgment that this is not the right thing to do. But it would be irrational to judge somebody before conception. So before there's an egg, fertilized egg, we're not allowed to judge. So if somebody has a genetic condition that this will guarantee, okay, they both, two couples, a couple that just guarantees it, okay, because they both got the now dominant gene. The recessive gene is now dominant, and their child is guaranteed to have some hideous condition. We can't judge them because there's no egg yet. There's no fetus yet to abort. So it'd be silly to argue with them beforehand and say what you're going to do is inappropriate. It's immoral, it's unethical, it's indecent, it's grotesque, please don't do it. That would be an act of irresponsibility and invasion on our part. We would be trespassing horribly to plead with such individuals not to do this horrible thing. And it would be completely imbecilic of us to do it, because there is no fetus yet. That's the logic here. It's insensible and nonsensical. Further, it assumes that we can't detect this. That's the bottom line of it, right? There's this underlying premise to this non-existent argument that somehow we know the non-existent will not exist. And of course we do know. And we know pretty close to what proportions the people will be hatched in. We know how many of each colored chick will come out of the eggs over time. We know the proportions. We know the demographics. We know the probabilities. So again, this argument is so unintellectual. It denies our knowledge of these things. It denies the fact that we have modeled these systems, that we have done the surveys, that we have the intellectual capacity to know ahead of time, within a very small margin of error, what the outcome's going to be. We have that knowledge now. And here are the intellectuals denying the knowledge, denying its existence, denying that we can make the judgment now for the future circumstance. So incredible. And they go to these lengths to argue merely a philosophy, to discount a philosophy. They compromise this much science, this much progress, this much knowledge, this much intelligence. They compromise it, demean it, insult it, degrade it, because they have to escape having the argument, even having the argument with this horrible adversary, this Neanderthal. They are so afraid of this Neanderthal that they will convert their science, convert the beauty products of their brain into fucking clubs. And again, I'm back to the metaphor. They are extracting the human brain from their skulls and walking up to the adversary and attempting to beat it to death with their gray matter. They can't use it properly, so they have to break it and try to bash things again. And the irony of them calling me the Neanderthal. I mean, it should be in the dictionary. Here is irony. Yeah, I mean, this is the definition of irony. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, then towards the end it was beautiful. He made some sort of dig. I mean, I didn't get the entire meaning of it, but implying that somehow women in Afghanistan will live a more horrid life under Efilism than under their forced marriage and procreation. That somehow they'll have less fun if they're put under some restriction that says they have to have less than 2.1 children. That horror is somehow much more horrible and less fun for the women than being forced into a marriage contract and being forced to have children they don't want to have. Interesting theory? No, it's not an interesting theory. All right, and the last, but not least, biological reductionism is not proof. So, I mean, you can't, when you're explaining that this is where humans came from, here's their origin and their function, and we can explain it by looking at this evolutionary biological tree. In his opinion, that's number one, not proven theory, substantially proven enough for us to argue it as a premise of all argumentation, the substance of argumentation, let's say. I mean, unless you're getting completely, you're taking some LSD and you're doing some little magical submarine rides or something. Yeah, it seems like this should be the context of rational conversation. It should involve the premise that yes, we did evolve. The salt in our blood kind of proves it. The seawater thing and everything. genomes. Yeah, we sort of got lots of evidence of this. Yeah. So somehow this reductionism is again this is intellectually offensive. It's intellectually offensive to use this as a foundation for the dissection of the human organism. That if you want to understand humans, what you do is go look in a box of Cracker Jack, or you look at the stars. Do I see something up there? Are they the souls of the dead kings talking to us, or some sort of mush like that? That our purpose is somehow not something generated out of the chemistry of the earth, that it's somehow we are endowed by our creator. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, right? Quacks like a duck and all that kind of shit. So again, I don't know what to say to that. I can't argue people's will, and that's all it is a contrivance inside of theirs. That's your need to augment this story with, talking bears and, rapist wolves and whatever other mumbo jumbo, whatever totem pole and mushy fable you want to add to talking trees. Maybe we'll just go the Wizard of Oz or Wonderland. Is that where the truth is in these silly stories? But it's not in evolution. So anyway, but again, this is what intellectuals do. They tear apart evolution as a theory of origin and function. Sorry, then intellectuals fail dismally. Yeah, whatever. We should probably make them walk the plank because they're just too fucking stupid. I mean, they're doing the opposite of what intellectuals should do, right? Isn't this the opposite of what intellectuals should do? I mean, demeaning and impugning and degrading intelligence, if that's what intellectuals are going to waste their time doing, then maybe we don't need intellectuals. Yeah, maybe. I mean, dumb people being dumb makes sense, but smart people being stupid is idiotic. Sorry, fail. Yeah, I mean, what can you say to this shit? I mean, it's just laughable. It's laughable. I mean, the comment section alone should be a joke. I mean, just because you talk about Neanderthals. I mean, these Quintas and these people are the ones making the intelligent arguments. The Dana Garretts and the whatever his name was. I can't remember that turd. But anyway, I mean, come on, get real. Get really real. What's real spelled backwards? Maybe we have to just spell everything backwards. I don't know, but you're an idiot.